Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a journey, a really fascinating one, into Celtic spirituality. We're looking specifically at the cross, using Mark's Treasury of Celtic Christian Spirituality as our guide. So this deep dive, it's all about unpacking the layers,
Why?
the meaning and the profound significance behind this unique symbol. We'll connect its ancient roots with, well, foundational biblical stories. Our mission really is to explore what this symbol truly means and maybe why it still resonates so deeply for so many people today. Okay, let's unpack this.
It really is a symbol that many people recognize instantly, isn't it? But the depth behind it, often hidden. What's so striking, I think, about the Celtic cross is how it just visually sets itself apart from other Christian crosses.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you picture one, what's the first thing that jumps out? For me, it's always that circle, right? The one behind the main cross shape. It just draws your eye immediately.
Precisely. That circle is its signature, you could say. It's why it often gets called the wheel cross. And that visual difference, it just makes you curious, doesn't it? Like, what does that bit mean? It takes a simple cross and makes it feel, I don't know, wider, more encompassing.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. This one symbol, it looks quite simple, visually speaking, but wow, it holds such a surprising depth of meaning. It seems to bridge different cultures, different traditions.
Oh, it really does. The interpretations are incredibly layered. I mean, just think about the four arms of the cross. People have seen them as the four elements, earth, air, fire, water, or for four cardinal directions, north, south, east, west. And even the four core parts of being human mind, soul, heart, body. It's like a sort of cosmic map in one image.
And that circle, the really distinctive part in the middle, what kind of ideas does that bring together?
Well, that circle carries huge spiritual weight. Some see it as embodying the divine mystery itself. You know, how Jesus, through his death and rising again, just endlessly pours out love and that hope of salvation. Others think of it as maybe a meeting place, like for divine energies, with the very center being this energetic focal point where cosmic power comes together.
Convergence point.
Exactly. And if you zoom out a little, it's also seen as unifying wisdom from all those different branches, the elements, directions, whatever you see the arms as, giving this, the text says, exhilarating feeling of oneness and unity. And on a more practical level, maybe, it can be like a symbolic compass, guiding you through life when things feel uncertain, helping you refocus.
It's really remarkable, isn't it, how one shape can contain so many universal meanings, all pointing towards wholeness and connection. Now, the source material also goes into some more personal, spiritual reflections, how the cross speaks to individual journeys. How does the author connect with it on that more personal level?
Yeah, the author shares some really beautiful, quite personal takes. One idea is that the circle behind the cross is like the sun rising, specifically linking it to the sun or sun rising at the resurrection, which signifies, a new day, a fresh start, that constant grace to begin again. That's such a powerful message of hope, isn't it?
A symbol of resurrection, then, and
Yeah.
new beginnings.
Exactly. And the circle is also seen sometimes as a reminder of that stone rolled away from Jesus' tomb, revealing his victory over death. There's also this fascinating analogy in the source. It compares it to old Scottish sheepfolds, the circular ones, where the shepherd would sleep right at the entrance to protect the sheep. So it becomes a symbol of the Lord as our shepherd, offering protection. The cross itself as a shield, maybe. And apparently this even connects to where genuflecting comes from, that bending the knee. Interesting link.
Wow, I didn't know that connection.
Yeah, it's quite something. And on a more somber note, it's also thought to represent the crown of thorns, a very direct, sobering symbol of Christ's suffering.
And you mentioned it evokes eternity, too, like a cycle without end.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That circle shape is just inherently a symbol of infinity, isn't it? Like a wedding ring, no beginning, no end. So it represents that eternal connection, that covenant relationship. The source draws a parallel to Christ returning for the church, his bride. It's about faithfulness. And then, maybe more introspectively, that wheel cross idea prompts a very direct question for all of us, really. Who is steering your life?
Yeah.
So you see this range. It shows not just its history, but how personally resonant it can be.
Okay, so connecting all this rich symbolism back to the core story.
Yeah.
The story it represents. To really get the power of the Celtic cross, we kind of have to face the bedrock it stands on, right? The source takes us right back to Luke 23, to that raw, very visceral account of the crucifixion.
Yeah, and that narrative, it isn't just background context. It's the very heart, the crucible from which the symbol draws its profound power. Luke 23, it describes Jesus being led away, Simon from Cyrene forced to carry the cross. Then, at the place called the Skull, he's crucified between two criminals. And it's right there in that moment of just immense suffering that Jesus says those incredible words, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing."
And then there's that incredibly moving exchange with the two criminals next to him.
Indeed. One of them mocks Jesus, right? But the other one actually rebukes him. He says, "We deserve this, but this man has done nothing wrong." And then he humbly asks Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus promises him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Just, wow. That moment of grace right there on the cross, its core. The story continues, Luke tells us, with 3 hours of darkness covering the land, the sun stopping shining, the temple curtain tearing in two.
A cosmic event, almost.
Absolutely. And Jesus' final words, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." That ultimate surrender, that trust. Even the centurion watching declares, surely this was a righteous man, a powerful testimony.
So it's these moments, the sacrifice, the forgiveness, the promise of paradise, the final trust, that really give the foundation for all those layers of meaning we talked about in the cross symbol. And the story doesn't just end with death, does it? It moves towards preparation for new life.
Exactly right. Joseph of Arimathea, described as a good and upright council member, he steps forward, he gets permission from Pilate, takes Jesus' body down, wraps it respectfully in linen cloth, and places it in a new, unused tomb. This happens on Preparation Day, just before the Sabbath begins, and the women who had followed Jesus, they watch where he's laid, then they go home quietly to prepare spices and perfumes, but then they rest on the Sabbath as commanded. That final act of reverence, that pause before the Sabbath rest, it underscores the weight of it all and really sets the stage for what's next. It anchors the cross firmly in that ultimate story of hope and renewal.
This really brings up an important question for you listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do these symbols, these profound stories, how do they invite your own thinking, your own reflection?
Yeah, and that's where the Celtic cross becomes more than just a historical object. It becomes like a dynamic canvas for your own life's journey. The source material actually encourages active engagement, maybe making and decorating your own unique Celtic cross. There's also this really lovely idea of doodling within a paper-folded cross, treating it like a canvas. It reflects how, quoting the source, our lives are a work unfolding with the careful touch of the Creator. It's quite beautiful. It even gives some practical guidance for creating those intricate Celtic knotwork designs if you're feeling artistic.
I like that idea of life unfolding, like the knot work.
Me too.
Yeah.
And Ray Simpson has this great insight. He says, "The Celtic knot speaks to us of the past held in the whole, the complex being held in the simple, the present being held in eternity." He reminds us that these standing crosses, they weren't just decorations, they were focal points for entire communities back then.
So it's not just something static to look at, but something to interact with. A mirror for our own lives unfolding.
Precisely. And the source shares a deeply meditative breathing exercise, too, from Richard Rohr. It goes something like, "Breathing in loss, I am breathing out love." And it culminates in this idea that when we breathe our last breath out, God breathes us in. It's a practice that really grounds you, connects the symbol right to your own breath, your own being. And finally, there are prayer points mentioned. Asking the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, to mold us, make us whole, fill us with confidence, trusting life itself as a sacred gift. It's about letting that intricate design of faith sort of unfold within you.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive into the Celtic cross that was.
Right.
We've seen how it really serves as this powerful, multifaceted symbol, hasn't it?
Mhm.
Connecting these deep theological truths, historical narratives, and really personal spiritual journeys, all while pointing towards themes of, well, wholeness, guidance, and renewal.
Yeah, and understanding symbols like this, it can genuinely open up new ways of seeing things, new dimensions for insight and reflection in your own life. It invites you to contemplate faith and existence on a level that maybe goes beyond just the surface understanding.
So thinking about that Celtic knot idea, the complex being held in the simple, the present being held in eternity, here's a thought for you to take away. How might you identify and reflect on the intricate, interconnected patterns in your own life? The ones that bring maybe unexpected unity or meaning? We'll leave you with that to ponder.